All right, welcome back. Now, parenting on its own comes with its challenges. Now, imagine being a parent who is met with a negative diagnosis just after your child is born. Then the rejection from loved ones and a generally uninterested society that refuses to give your child a normal life. Well, that's the story of my two guests who are mothers of children living with cerebral palsy. Our discussion tonight will center around the challenges they face raising special needs children, as well as the hope they have for their children to one day be integrated into society. Well, yesterday we marked World Cerebral Palsy Day to raise more awareness about the condition. Globally, cerebral palsy affects around 4 out of every 1,000 live births. Now, there are no official statistics on the prevalence of cerebral palsy in Kenya, but some experts estimate that about 3 in every 100 children in the country currently live with the condition. So, what is cerebral palsy, or CP as it's also known? It is a group of disorders that affect a person's ability to move and maintain balance and posture. CP is the most common motor disability in childhood, believe it or not. Now, the two words, by definition, cerebral means having to do with the brain, and palsy means weakness or problems with using the muscles. And what causes it? Well, according to experts, it is caused by a damage or abnormal development in parts of the brain that control movement. Well, these events can happen before, during, or shortly after birth, or in the first few years of life when the brain is still developing. Well, joining me now in studio are Carol Wambui Kinothia, whose 8-year-old daughter Precious is living with CP, and Rebecca Wanjiku Mwangi, who has a 17-year-old son also living with CP. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me. Mama Precious, I'll begin with you.
Yeah.
Of course, Precious is your third child.
Yeah.
Just take me through what that process was like when you first heard the diagnosis. Was this at birth or before birth? When did you find out?
First of all, let me thank you for the invitation. Giving me this chance to come and create cerebral palsy awareness is what I do, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. All right, Precious is our third born, and it happened that she got this condition during delivery due to negligence at the hospital by the doctors. And we came to discover it 2 years later after she was born, such that in the first 2 years, we didn't know like she had CP, because the doctors were telling us about another condition, but later on is when we came to realize that she has CP. It wasn't easy, but it takes a lot of courage and to believe you can do it, like to raise the child. It has a lot of challenges, but the main thing is for you as a parent or the caregiver to love your child, accept the child, the challenges that are there, give love to that child, give the full support that is required, and do what you can. What you are not able to do, leave it to God.
You know, we say parenting is a full-time job, but parenting of a special needs child is almost like a double job, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, Rebecca, you've raised your son to 17 years. How is he now, you know, from diagnosis up until this point?
Thank you so much. My son is, he got the cerebral palsy when he got sick with meningitis. And actually we went to a hospital and it was not diagnosed earlier. So after is when it was diagnosed in another hospital. And since then he went down like 0 and we had to start again. But now from there up to this time, just rely on God, and it is actually tough times that we go through, but we give it all to God because we have seen the faithfulness of God. And he's now 17 years, young adult, and we thank God.
What is he able to do now? Because I know oftentimes occupational therapy is critical to ensure that they're able to move and, you know, handle themselves independently.
Actually, when he got meningitis, he went down to 0, but through the therapies, he's now able to sit.
Wow.
And is able to point at whatever he needs. Yeah, that's the communication. So he hears, but he can't speak.
Amazing.
And he can't move.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know, Mama Precious, I have to come to you, and I know both of you still married.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because I've interviewed my fair share of special needs parents, and oftentimes they're single mothers because partners leave.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's the pressure of, this is not my child, there's something wrong. And I'm sure you have in your support group several of those kinds of cases. Talk about that added burden of now having to do this by yourself.
Yeah. It's not easy, but it's unfortunate that a father to the baby, or to a CP child, we call them champions. Our CP children, we call them champions because, they are champions. They fight for their lives through the anticonvulsant medication that they take, and they fight for our life each day that they are there, and we celebrate them. We say it's unfortunate that a father, who has, he's the father of the child, but unfortunately can decide to leave the child because of, maybe not believing, like the child maybe belongs to him. Could be, some even accuses their wives, like in our families, we don't have such children, we don't have disabilities. This one must have come from your family, or there's something that you did, that's why the child is like this, of which CP is purely medical condition. It has nothing to do with, anything to do with witchcraft or beliefs, medical condition purely. So what we urge is that if you are the dad, can you just remain, be there, take care of your child, love that child, accept, yes, it happened. And also, disability has been there ever since times of Jesus. It was there in the Bible. Yeah, and people went to Jesus and they asked, what is the reason that this young man was born with the disability? And Jesus said what? It was neither the sin of the father or of the parent or of that young man, It was for the glory of God. So through the life of our children, God is glorified. Like what Rebecca is saying, when our children achieves any milestone, like for Precious, she doesn't do much, and apart from, smiling, and also she coos. There's some sign language, not sign language, like cooing. Yeah, different sounds we get to understand. We call it angelic languages, whereby no one can teach you except God. God will He makes us to understand, like when this child coos like this, the child needs this and this. The child either needs some attention, maybe the baby is wet, need to change, or the baby is hungry. There's some sound for hunger. There's some sound for thirsty, like attention. If there's a visitor the child is feeling uncomfortable, they coos and we get to understand them. So it's a journey. And so for the daddies, even the ones that have run away, we request them to just come back. Just know that your child misses you. Yeah, our children, they have feelings. They feel, they miss. It's just that they can't express themselves, but we understand them. So we do request the fathers who has run away. Some of them do that out of denial. It's like the moment their child was, diagnosed with that condition, it was like a shock to them. Some of them is unfortunate. Maybe their families would, advise them, you just leave that wife, go look for another wife or a better girl who will give you a child. A better child with no disabilities. And unfortunately, there are stories that I have seen, like a man marries a lady, gets a child with disability, decide to leave the wife with the child or just chase them away, and then the man remarries. The same thing that happened to the first wife, it happens again. And now that man decides, why this thing is like it's in our blood, it's here to stay. Or God has just decided this is the thing, and so that man sticks with the second wife. So whatever happens, just love the child, just know some of these things happens with the plans of God. Yes, I'm telling you, because the Bible says, even before anyone was conceived in our parents' wombs, God knew us. He had plans for us, good plans, not of evil, but to prosper us. You see, so through our children, there is a mission why they were born, and God is still glorified in that life, and there's a reason why they are like that.
I have to ask this in a practical sense, because people could be asking, sure, for parents who have kids, you're just probably thinking about food, shelter, school fees. For you, the burden is a lot higher.
Sure.
Rebecca, how much is it to really take care of a special needs kid when you're thinking about the extra therapy, special diet, for instance?
True.
What you have to spend, for instance, in a week or a month?
It's a lot of money because now, like when we were in school, we were told that the things that you need first is food, shelter, and clothing. But for us, we add after the third, we add the diapers, we add the medication, we add therapy. Those are very crucial because that kid cannot live without those three. Yeah. So it is better you lack clothing and you support this kid with diapers and you buy for them the medication, and they are quite pricey. So if there is a way that we can get to, the government would realize that maybe if you have a special kid that they are going to support, like you go to purchase the diaper or the medication and you produce the card for disability, then maybe to a subsidized price, then that would be better because it is quite pricey to bring up the kid.
So what are you looking at in a week, for instance?
It's a lot of money because if a diaper, one piece goes for 100 shillings, so, and medication goes for much.
Right.
So it's a lot of money. You can't even sit down to count because you'll go nuts.
And speaking of which, because many would ask, how do you take care of you? You know, we just talked about parenting being a full-time job. This requires so much more of your attention. There's literally nothing else you can do. True. You cannot have another job.
Yeah.
So when it comes time to deal with your mental health and your care, how are you doing that?
I live one day at a time and mostly relying on God and actually having a supportive family like my husband. Thank you so much, my husband, wherever you are. He's very supportive because if I'm not there, he's there for me and he's there for the kid. And even the brother who is in school, when he's at school, then we combine efforts as a family and we take care of the kid because it's a full-time job for him. So there must be somebody looking after him.
I must commend the two of you coming, and we're just about to wrap up, because in many cases, special needs kids are hidden away.
Yeah.
Many parents do not want to come out to say, this is my reality.
Yeah.
And yet here you are live on TV saying, this is my child.
Yeah.
I am proud. They have a future.
Yes.
What do you tell a parent watching who has not come to this point yet?
For one, I would tell such a parent to come out of denial. Denial is what makes special parents to hide our kids. Yeah. Once you are out of that cocoon, you know, that cage whereby you are hiding yourself, you don't want people to know you even have a special child, get out of the cocoon, accept the reality. Even me, I was there once. But the moment I accepted, I was like, Precious Blessing is here. She's a CP child, and she will live like this unless the Lord does a miracle. It's for me. I had to accept it and move out. That's when I decided, like, I'll be creating CP awareness. Let the world know Precious is here. And apart from her, we have millions of CP children that even are hidden. But I reach out. I encourage parents. Come out. Expose your child. You never know. Maybe your angel is just next to your door, and maybe they can help you. You see, our needs are so huge. Your angel could be the next door. Maybe that person could be helping you to buy diapers or something. So you just do this. Create the awareness. Let them know. Of course, there are people who will come and criticize you. Not everyone will be for you. But at least live your life. Accept it. And the other thing is to put a don't care attitude. Whereby, yeah, this is my child. Whatever you say there, I don't care. It's okay. You live your life. Let me live my life. Yeah, and you move on. Don't hide your child. Your child has a right, you know, to live a normal life, or near normal, and just to know the world. Like for Precious, we go to church with her, we go places with her, and I put her on Facebook, and people get encouraged by that. And actually, I have I have a group for CP children, parents, whereby we interact, we talk, and through that, I've met parents who had said they wanted to commit suicide, but the moment they saw me with Precious out there, and she's a CP severe child, they were like, no, even me, I have to love my child. So accept the reality and move on. Don't care what people will say. The child is yours, and remember, one day you'll give an account of your child. God gave us these children knowing that already he had made us to be qualified to raise a special child. So why should you not believe yourself? If God saw you, already you are qualified. Fantastic. So do it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Carol and Rebecca, for coming in. And this is your small part in raising awareness and normalizing such conversations. And hopefully we have more CP children and grown-ups in society living independent lives. That is certainly the hope. Thank you so much for coming in. Let's take a short break here on Citizen Weekend. Sports news is coming up next.